Howdy folks, welcome to another episode of Hook Work. I'm going to say it every time, guys, you know the deal. Our goal here is to help you catch more and bigger fish through proper hook selection. This episode is going to be a little bit different. We're actually going to show a cast to catch video with one of our Trokar pros, Stefan. I've said this is the third time in a row. The man needs no introduction. Mr. Jason Christie, how you doing?
I'm doing really good after that drink of coffee. You caught me in the middle of a wig, so I cannot go without coffee in the mornings.
Yeah, no, we two peas in a pod with that one. So this one's going to be different because what we're going to do is we're going to do a cast to catch. You've got an awesome video up, and for those of us that that have watched it when it happened, it's an amazing catch. It's the 9-pounder at Lay Lake. You're using a spinning rod. Can you give us the story behind that catch?
So what happened was, I found an area, didn't know how good it was, ended up being really, really good. And I was catching on a frog out of lily pads. And the only frustrating thing about the fish catch is it goes back and reminds me that I lost the event due to a few lost fish. I mean, I had the bites to win hands down. But anyway, the water, there was areas of the lily pads where it was pretty clear, and it got flat calm, and it got to where I could see. And I had 2 rods laid on the deck. I had a frog, and I had a Wacky Rig yum dinger. And some of these fish I would see out, cruising around, and I could throw the Wacky Rig. Some were actually were still spawning, but I could catch them doing that. And what had happened was I was kind of starting to get in this groove on the third day, and I look over and I see one kind of suspended under a pad. He was only in 3 foot, but he was just laying there. And I kind of got in my crouch position, and I fired my frog over the top of it, and she never moved. And when I saw her, I thought she was about 5 pounds, and she never moved. And I brought my frog over, didn't even nothing. So I make another cast to her, and I kind of work the frog a little bit different. Well, this time, instead of going after my frog, she just takes off kind of swimming real slow, like she didn't like that. And she actually swam to kind of an opening in the pads. Now, once she started swimming, I couldn't see her. So I had no other option on the deck to pick up other than a spinning rod in the lily pads. And I just reached down, picked up the dinger and fired it out there. And, at the time you're like, well, the chances of her biting, it's not good. She's already moving away from me. And it hits bottom, and I lift up and I feel it just go think. And the fight was on. And what I thought was a 5-pounder turned into a 9-4 on Lay Lake, biggest fish of the event, biggest fish of the season. And we had been to Florida, those kind of places. And a 9-pounder on Lay Lake is like catching a 15 in Florida or a 16 giant. I mean, there were locals at the weigh-in that they were looking at me like I was an alien. They're like, this guy's not from here. Wow, he comes here and catches this fish. But really, really cool fish catch. And that just, whenever you're topwater fishing, it doesn't matter if you're frogging, spooking, whatever, always have a bait laid on the deck for a follow-up. Always. Even if you never use it all day. But you'll get that. If you get a bite and you don't get it, there's a 30, 40, maybe 50% chance if you get a follow-up bait in there pretty quick, you can catch that fish.
That's awesome. So, again, the juice here, guys, as Jason's done, this is the 3rd episode in a row that's just tons of information. Always have a follow-up bait. My question is, you have the spinning rod. What was the setup line-wise with that? Because I think of a 9-pound fish in stuff that could be very problematic. I mean, what were you using line-wise?
So line-wise, I actually upped it because I was around the pads and stuff. I think I had 10 on, if I remember right. And if you watch the fish catch, she kind of stays in open water a little bit, and then she starts making a run in some pads, and I had no choice. It was either put pressure on her and try to keep her out of the pads or let her get in the pads. And luckily, you know, with me putting a lot of pressure on her, I was able to get her turned. I was able, you know, even with a finesse hook, putting that much pressure on her, I was able to work her away from that. But, you know, here so my wife, for my birthday last year, it's hard for us to buy for each other, really, but I could tell she was excited about it. But she got a replica made of the fish, and it's hanging out there in my shop, but it has, and it's in pads and everything, but it actually has the exact worm and the exact hook and everything on the replica. I mean, the worm that I caught it with, because I don't think I caught one after that. But so she asked me after we got back from that event, she's like, "Where's the worm and stuff?" And she made up some story, like she was sending a picture, and I just cut it off and gave it to her. And I'm digging a hook out here, but yeah, that's what she was doing. So she was proud of it. I was proud of it. So this is it. You guys know, I mean, is there a bait on Earth that's caught more fish than that? I mean, a jig's caught up, I'm talking like years back, 30 years. A jig's caught a bunch, a spook has caught a bunch, a spinnerbait has caught a bunch, but has there been more bass caught on this? I mean, it's just so, I mean, you can Carolina rig it, you can wacky rig it, you can Texas rig it, you can flip it. I mean, there's just 100 different ways. But, you know, I really like the little get hung up wires there, or keeper there. And that's the thing is if I don't want it, if I'm fishing open water, I'll just take some scissors and cut them off. You know what I mean? Yeah, where they're out of the way. But even they're enough that the bait doesn't weigh much, so it keeps it kicked out. But it doesn't take much pressure at all for them to get it. So, yeah, that's it. I mean, that was the little bait, and I had a 10-pound leader, I think 16-pound braid, and just a measly old spinning rod in the lily pads.
Well, yeah, that's what you're known for, right? Is the spinning rods.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Jason, you've been with us long enough to where you predate the Trokar Pro V Finesse hook. We had the Trokar Wacky Rig hook. Years ago, you did a video where you actually utilized both of them here and there. Is that still the case, or do you use one over the other now?
It really depends on the size of the worm. So this is actually a 6-inch. So it's a pretty, the reason I brought a 6-inch in here is just so it would be easier to see. I caught the 9-pounder on a 5-inch. So the 5-inch, it just kind of depends. If I was fishing for smallmouth, I would probably just use the wacky hook. But largemouth, you know, they're bigger, and the chances of, you know, getting a 6 or 7-pounder, I like the Pro V just I just like it. I mean, yeah, I just do. But if I was using a 4-inch, you know, or a skinny worm, you know, I would probably use the wacky hook over this. But yeah, you know, and I'm just one of those guys. If it works, why change it? Yeah. And you're right. I seen the Pro V come in, and I think you guys had sent me some, and I'm like, well, I'll try that sometime. And I ran out of wacky hooks, and I tried this, and I was like, ooh, I kind of like that. So as you can see, like this whole, I don't know if you can see, but this is my Trokar box. This whole top column right there is nothing but Pro Vs. There's actually one little, these two are wackies, but I have a lot of Pro Vs, different sizes. I use sometimes 7-inch worms. So.
Well, the power of Pro V, I mean, it's one of those things where I don't want to push people so hard that they think they're getting sham wowed or anything, but anybody that fishes serious, you know, a 9-pounder approved. What size was that hook?
2?
2?
2-aught.
So a 2-aught hook, a 9-pound fish, wowing the folks around Lay Lake, the folks that live around there. And again, this is the third video with Jason Christie. I used both your first name and your last name, which is a little bit goofy there, but we appreciate it so much. You know, you've had a career of showing folks how to catch fish, and it's just as an angler, I just appreciate your willingness to help people. It means a lot to a lot of us, and we hope you continue to do it for a long time.
Thank you. You know, the tournament scene is what it is, but I just feel like, you know, I'm at a point in my career where I like to pass on. You know what I mean? The tournaments they're gonna come and go. But teaching people and to catch fish, you know, if a dude goes and catches 10 instead of 5 because of me, then I've done my job.
Yeah, love that. I actually had a buddy that he writes for a fishing magazine, and he said if you have all that knowledge in your head and you don't share it, at some point it becomes selfish. And seeing that we're sharing, and it's just awesome. So again, guys, I said this to end the last video. I'm going to say it to end this one. Make sure you're following Jason. Most of you guys already are on all the social media channels, especially YouTube. His YouTube channel, he's dropping stuff left and right. It's going to help you catch more and bigger fish. Jason, it's been great. I've learned a lot. I'm sure these guys have as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.